Quiet now, everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show. Now, some of you people have been with me before. You know it's going to be a tough grind. You're going to dance until your feet fall off. You're not able to stand up any longer. But we're going to have a show.
Welcome to the Pink Door Podcast. Hello and welcome. Today we're doing one of our deep dives, and this one is custom built for anyone watching the Scituate, Massachusetts market. We're going to be looking at the numbers for December 2025 for lab code 02066.
Yep, that's right. We're covering all residential single-family homes, condos, townhouses.
And our mission today is pretty straightforward.
It is. We want to synthesize the key metrics, inventory, speed, and price, to really give you a clear picture of where the Scituate market is and where it's heading.
We want to know what these numbers really mean for you, whether you're thinking about buying or maybe selling.
Or even just keeping an eye on your property's value in, let's be honest, a very competitive coastal market.
Okay, so let's jump right in. To get our bearings, we have to start with market balance. We measure that with months of inventory, or MOI. What's the reading for Scituate?
The MOI for Scituate in December stood at a very tight 1.4 months.
1.4 months.
Yeah.
Okay, for anyone new to this, a balanced market is usually what, 5 or 6 months?
Exactly. So at 1.4, it means if nothing new came on the market, everything currently for sale would be gone in about 6 weeks.
So it's still very much a seller's market?
Oh, absolutely. It's firmly entrenched as a seller's market. Properties are a scarce resource.
But, and this is the interesting part, that 1.4 months figure isn't the whole story, is it? When we look at the trend from November.
Right. This is where the nuance comes in. While 1.4 is extremely low, it's actually a 25.53% increase month over month.
A 25% jump?
Yeah.
In 1 month?
Yeah. Inventory, while still low, is expanding a little bit. It suggests, well, a couple of things. Some of it's seasonal, for sure.
Okay.
But it also shows a subtle easing. It's not a flood of new homes, but it's a sign that the absolute tightest squeeze might be letting up just a bit.
So buyers might have a few more options than they did 30 days prior.
A few more, yeah. It's like the line at a popular restaurant is still long, but maybe it's moving just a tiny bit faster.
That makes sense. So inventory is easing slightly. Let's talk about market speed. How quickly are these properties going under contract?
We measure that with the median days in RPR, which is the time from when a home is listed to when it goes under agreement.
In December, that median time was...
It was 13 days.
13 days. I mean, that's still incredibly fast.
It's blistering speed in any normal market. Selling a house in under 2 weeks is remarkable.
But like the inventory number, there's a trend here that's really telling.
Absolutely. This is the stat that really makes you pause. That 13-day median, it's a 44.44% increase compared to November.
Wow. Up by almost half.
Yep. So listings are taking almost 50% longer to find a buyer than they did the month before.
Wait, okay, help me connect the dots here. We just said inventory is still critically low at 1.4 months. So how can properties be sitting almost twice as long if supply is still so tight?
That's the core tension right now. It tells us that the demand hasn't disappeared, but the panic has. That jump from, say, 9 days in November to 13 days in December, it might not sound like much.
Just 4 days.
Right, but think what those 4 days give a buyer. It's time for a second look. It's time to actually get a home inspection done without waiving everything.
It's time to breathe.
Exactly. Buyers are being a little more judicious. The market's still hot, but it's not a 5-alarm fire anymore.
Okay, that makes sense. So with this deceleration, let's call it, has that had any impact on the actual prices people are paying?
That brings us to price performance. Let's look at the median sold price first.
For December 2025, the median sold price in Scituate was $935,000.
A very strong number, especially for a winter month. And that's actually up 9.68% month over month.
A nearly 10% jump in 1 month.
It's a big swing. It suggests that a lot of the homes that closed in December were in those upper middle or even luxury tiers, which pulled the median up.
So even with the market slowing down a bit, sellers are still getting their price. How close are they getting to their original asking price?
That's the other side of the coin. The sold to list price percentage was 99.7%.
99.7%. That's basically perfect.
It is. Negotiations are minimal or they're just not happening. Buyers are coming in at or very close to the asking price.
Which seems a little counterintuitive if they're taking more time to decide. You'd think that would give them more leverage.
You would, but it seems to be tied to something else we'll get to in a minute. It tells us sellers are pricing their homes with incredible accuracy right from the start.
And we can see that in the data, right? The median list price for the homes that sold was about $950,000, and they sold for a median of $935,000. It's right in that ballpark.
It is, and the range of sales is pretty incredible. The total market volume was just over $19.3 million.
And that stretched from what, the lowest sale?
The lowest single family sold for $665,000, and I bet there was a fierce battle for that one.
All the way up to.
All the way up to a $4.9 million sale for Colonial on Wood Island Road.
That's a massive range. It really shows there's confidence across the entire market, from entry level to the very high end.
Without a doubt. Buyers at all price points believe in the long-term value of Scituate.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's pull the lens back from the monthly numbers. What does the long-term value story look like for homeowners there?
It looks very good. The median estimated property value, which is a model based on all available data, is now sitting at $1,051,170.
So the typical home value is over $1 million.
It is. And that's after some really strong appreciation. Over the last 12 months, that estimated value has grown by a robust 12.8%.
The 13% in 1 year, that's fantastic for homeowners.
It's exceptional, and it shows the market's resilience. Now, we did see a tiny dip in December, about minus 0.2%, but the long-term trend is overwhelmingly positive.
Okay, now for what you hinted at earlier, this is the stat that I think explains everything else we've talked about. It's a bit of an anomaly, and it has to do with list prices.
This is the key to the whole puzzle. We know the current median list price is around $999,000. But if we look at the 12-month change in that number, it's down.
Down by how much?
It's down a staggering 39.45%.
Hold on. Down almost 40%. That sounds like a market collapse. How is that possible?
I know, it sounds dramatic, but this is where you have to compare it to the sold price. A year ago, the median list price was an astronomical $1,650,000.
$1,650,000. So sellers were really reaching.
They were overreaching, exactly. They were setting aspirational prices. But what did homes actually sell for a year ago? The median sold price was $932,000.
Which is almost identical to today's $935,000.
Precisely. So the value buyers are willing to pay has been incredibly stable. What's changed is that sellers' expectations have come back down to earth.
So that's why the sold-to-list ratio is 99.7%.
Yeah.
Sellers aren't listing at $1.6 million and negotiating down anymore. They're listing much closer to the actual market value.
That's the entire story. The market forced a reality check, and frankly, it's healthier this way. It prevents properties from just sitting there, which contributes to that slowdown in days on market we saw. Realistic pricing leads to faster, more efficient sales.
So to put it all together, the market saw 14 total sales in December against 25 active listings. Very low volume, which is typical for winter.
Very typical. But that tight ratio just reinforces how thin the inventory really is.
Okay, let's boil this all down for a final takeaway. Scituate is still fast, it's still competitive, and it's providing excellent long-term value growth.
That's it. And the key is that the market isn't adjusting its actual value, it's adjusting its expectations. The resilience of that sold price is everything.
So what's the big question this leaves us with heading into 2026?
The question for you, as someone watching this market, is this. That high median sold price of $935,000 we saw in December, was that a one-month blip driven by a few high-end sales?
Or is it a sign of renewed buyer confidence that's going to push the market even higher as we head into the spring?
Exactly. Is the market normalizing around that $935,000 mark, or is it getting ready for its next leg up? Answering that will tell us everything about the spring market.
As the trend line, we will be watching very, very closely. If you have any questions about this episode, or if you are thinking about buying or selling a house anywhere on Boston's South Shore from Southie to Sagamore, give Jim Aldred a call. He would love to speak with you, and he wants to provide you with the guidance and security to help your family move on smoothly. Thanks for listening, and catch you on the next episode of the Pig Door Podcast.